Hey everybody, my name is Taylor, and I am someone who lives with mental illness and has suffered a lot from self-harm when I was not yet diagnosed with my condition. I am someone who has been through some very traumatic experiences, most of which were my making with my condition. I have borderline personality disorder, and a lot of the time we are very impulsive, especially when it's self-destructive, as you can tell. For anyone wondering, yes, I did start on TikTok. I am having this tattoo on my face removed via laser by a company called Removery here in Tampa, Florida. But back to my condition. There are a lot of us that see situations and opportunities that most people would run away from. I like to say that we're the people that would run into the burning building instead of running away from it, which is, I think, a big part of the reason. I worked in EMS for a while. I was my life doesn't matter so long as I can help other people. And that never really changed. I had a really horrible breakdown that began actually in about 2016 and lasted until long into pretty 2021, where I had episodes of psychosis, impulsive self-destructive behavior, and memory loss. Some of us with this condition have something called dissociation as well, where our brains kind of filter out the bad. It's like the lights are on, but no one's home. I know that's really hard for a lot of people to understand unless you've dealt with it or you've had a family member deal with it. But it's frustrating because there are whole periods of my life that I don't remember, but there are pictures of me being places and doing things, and other members of my family and friends having memories of me and with me that I'm not there for. I don't recall them at all. So that can be really horribly damaging to someone, especially when they're in recovery. I had been diagnosed since. I have a psychiatrist. I take medications. I am very self-aware. I actually went and got a degree in psychology to try and understand myself better, and it's really helped. I'm hoping to finish my bachelor's, and I want to help work with children, middle school particularly. My daughter is in 8th grade right now, and it's a very formative time for children to find out who they are and get them on that right path to anything is possible. You can heal from anything. You can come back from anything. And it's interesting because a lot of people say, I should stay away from children, or, children would be afraid of you. And, some people that have preconceived notions and ideas about people, I can see how that would be a rational reaction. But surprisingly, kids really seem to like me. Kids are great. They don't judge you immediately because they still have that open mind. And they say, hey, what's your tattoo? What's it of? Why did you get it? And that really opens that door to, are you okay? And from my first little talk here, I want to know when it's okay to say you're not okay. I know a lot of people want to know that. And it's hard to know sometimes because you'll try to tell yourself, oh, it's just a bad day. Oh, it's just a bad week. It's just a bad month. It was a bad experience. I'll get over it. People tell me or tell you all the time, probably, it happened this long ago. Why aren't you over it yet? You might develop habits, things that you do that are directly related to something you've gone through or a condition you may have. And people may point it out. You might not even realize yourself that you're doing it. And sometimes it does take your family and people around you to go, hey, are you all right? And I really want to spread that message. If you could just, one person a day, whether it's a relative, someone you work with, a friend, check on them. Make sure they know that you're available to them and you're a safe space. You're a safe person, so that if you see that they're a bit down, hey, are you doing okay? That could change their day or their life. I've had it go both ways. And I really want to help and put that message out there. Like, I'm an advocate. I'm not a professional. I'm not certified in anything. I just have a certain level of education. I know what I have been through, what my family's been through, and how I'm coming back from it and how I'm coping with it. And that's really what I'm here to do. Also, sorry about the noise you're hearing in the background of my video. I have a short of a kitten named Bug. Well, Bug is no longer a kitten. He's quite large, and he doesn't like to be away from me. He's like my emotional support cat. And he's always on my lap, around my phone, around my feet, stepping on things, just generally staying near me and getting into as much trouble as he can, because let's be real, he's a cat. He knocks everything off of everything. So if you hear noises in my videos, or this tends to happen, that's my cat. So no worries, I'm trying my best. But back to what I was saying, you know, I don't want this channel to be completely about me, and that's why I'm starting over here on YouTube. I'm kind of pivoting away from TikTok, which is tough because I had 80,000 people over there that were subscribed to me, following me. And, you know, when I would do lives, I had a really big, great community. Well, I put all my information out there. If they wanted to come over here to YouTube with me, they can. If you're new to seeing me or someone like me, and maybe mental health is something that you're interested in, I know there are a lot of creators who talk about it and want to bring knowledge and awareness to it, which is amazing. And there's a lot of people who can give you their experiences. And I just want to be another one of those amazing voices to help elevate this discussion, this topic, because in this day and age, there are so many different conditions and ways to treat them that I think people are always looking for answers. But the first thing, the most important thing, is to know when to say, I'm not okay. And I wish I had done that so much sooner. I let it consume me. I let my mind find ways to tell me that coping a certain way was okay. I made excuses for my behavior that honestly, culturally, I could. Even though inside I really knew it was self-harm. But I told myself and everyone around me, hey, it's art. I'm a tattoo artist. This is what I do. This won't hurt me, you know, because this is the industry in which I work. But even in the tattoo industry, I'm incredibly taboo, and there's a reason for that. I think there's a subconscious line that we all see and understand as healthy behavior and decisions, and out of control, maybe manic decisions. And I think we can see that line, but it's really hard for anyone, even in your family, to go, hey, I think you need to stop. I think you have a problem, because as soon as you do that, you're going to get pushback. I know that for 100%, I would have been like, no, absolutely. I would have gotten angry. Like, you're not supporting me. Do you not love me? I'm doing what makes me happy. Why can't you respect that? Now, even if you know that person is going through psychosis or an episode of mania, the best you can do is try to sit down and explain, hey, I really think you should sit and think about this for a minute. Can you sit and talk with me? And if they can't, or they won't, and you think that they are hurting themselves, please get help for them. I know that can be like the hardest thing you'll ever do, but they'll thank you for it. If you think your family member could hurt themselves or anyone else, that's when you immediately help. Now, if it's a family member who is seeing something that isn't there and it's scaring them, if they seem off, doing things they wouldn't normally do, saying things they wouldn't normally say, if they're not hurting themselves or anyone else, I would encourage you to find them a mental health care professional. Now, whether it's a therapist to start, a psychiatrist, or a psychologist, there are differences there. Please do that. I know it's really hard, especially with our healthcare system. If you're over the age of 18 and you seem competent, like if they ask you the date and you can give them the date, and they ask you, who's the president, who's this, who's that, if you seem like you're all there, even if you're not, no one can make decisions for you. No one can make you do anything. Even if you really need help, unless you can sit and recognize that you need help, you may not get it. And that was the problem with me. I'm educated. I have spent a lot of my life going to college for healthcare. As you can, obviously, I worked in EMS and then went and started my degree in psychology. And even before that, was in a private school, gifted and talented program, really high GPA. Mental health can affect anybody. And, a string of bad decisions as a teenager, leaving home too early, marrying too young, running away from a situation you didn't know how to handle, moving thousands of miles away, getting divorced, becoming homeless, working in a tattoo shop, living on the couch there, and running the shop because you had nowhere else to go, being mistreated in that industry, because back then, being a woman and homeless, you were basically nothing. I worked for free and ran the shop and did all the bitch work, if you know what I mean. Anyone else in the industry, you know what I'm talking about. Back then, it was all stainless steel tips, grips, tubes, the cleaning, the sanitizing, the autoclave. And I was the only one who did custom designs. So I was the only real artist, if you will. I was always an artist. It's kind of what I wanted to do when I got out of high school, was to go to school for art. Back when it was still a valid profession, I wanted to do medical illustrations. But I did the only custom work. So anytime a client would come in and wanted a big piece, they would talk to every other artist but me, because I was still apprenticing. I spent hours toiling over back pieces, sleeves, thigh pieces, whole leg pieces, chest pieces, neck pieces. You can imagine over and over again doing all of the line work for everything, even if it was flash, because we didn't have the thermal printers like they have today, where you can just put it in your iPad and print it out. No, we had to do it all by hand. So I spent quite a while doing that. And then, a certain guy walked into the shop. I was smitten. I know now that someone with my condition, if a narcissist walks into your life, you kind of gravitate toward them like they're a fly zapping light. You see the light, but you don't see the damage that's going to happen when you touch it. That was that. Horrible things happened to me. I was assaulted. I was, here on YouTube, I can say I was sexually assaulted in a hotel room in Georgia because I didn't know better. I did, but I didn't. And I can put it to you like this. Someone with BPD. I got there with this boyfriend who was already abusive, incredibly abusive. But I thought, I'm not doing good enough. If I love them enough, then this will stop. He says he won't do it again. It'll be okay. Because, with BPD, you have a favorite person. And that person can be your everything. And sometimes you can make excuses for them. And I did. And there's a lot of things growing up where I was determined, I'm going to be with this one person. I won't give up. And that led to me going to River Street in Savannah. And it was supposed to be my boyfriend and I and 3 of his friends and their wives, girlfriends. You know what I mean? And I got there, and I was the only woman there. And there were excuses. She was sick. She had to stay with the kids. She's pregnant. She can't drink. And I thought, deep in my mind, I said, this isn't okay. There is something wrong. But I chose to ignore that because that boyfriend told me everything was fine, that everything was okay. We had just gotten through a period where I had healed up, and it had been about 2 weeks since anything violent had happened. And I told myself it was okay, that he would protect me if anything happened. But it was the absolute opposite of that. And things happened, and I still went back. I wound up pregnant, and I was basically told, you are having an abortion, whether you want it or not. So my boss at the tattoo shop gave him the money. He took me in. He squeezed my arm. I signed the papers. And that was that. And I had never felt more broken. So it was after that point that I said I was leaving. I didn't care what happened to me anymore. I was done. I had nothing left to live for. He had cut me off from my family. He had destroyed the one bit of hope, a spark of hope that I had. As a woman, I felt, I don't know how to explain this. Other women will know what I mean. It was taken from me. Because I was told if I didn't, I'd end up in the swamp and my family would never know what happened to me. And at the time, that sounded like the worst thing ever. But after I realized that wouldn't have been the worst thing. The worst thing is what I did. I signed those papers. I laid on that table. That's the worst thing I could have ever done, or could have ever been done to me. So I said I was leaving. And he held something up against my back, and he said if I took one step forward, or if I tried to leave, that was it. And I took that step forward. And then another one. And another one. And then I opened the door, and I stepped outside. There's a lot more details to that situation, but suffice it to say is, I got away. I got away. A lot happened between then and now, but I'm married. I have a 13-year-old daughter who means the world to me. And I tore myself apart. I tried to make myself disappear, but I'm still here. And I'm working on myself every single day. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have a life. Even though a lot of people on the outside see me and say, you ruined your life. No. You only ruin it when you take it away. I'm coming back from this. I'm healing. I'm working on loving myself again. I'm working on recognizing times and situations where I'm not feeling okay. and asking for help when I need it, even if it's just going to my husband and crying. I did that last night. Some of you who came over from TikTok know my grandma's fighting pancreatic cancer, and I lost my papa last June. They were my foundation, still are. And I helped my grandma through her surgery at Moffitt Cancer Center here in Tampa, Florida, to 2 infections, complications. The last one almost took her from us. She became incredibly weak, and I couldn't be in 2 places at once, and I was tearing myself apart over it. I had to be at her place to help her, but I also had to be home because my daughter needs me, and my husband is a 100% disabled veteran from the United States Army. I can talk more about him later too. It's kind of interesting having 2 people in the house with PTSD, but from different situations. It works out, actually. But she went to Ohio with my mom for a while to get stronger, because my mom can be home 24/7. She has MS, her husband goes to work, and she can care for my grandma. And last night I broke down because I realized for the first time I couldn't just drive across town and hug her or talk to her, in person, cry with her. She helps me through a lot. These 2 hurricanes this last year almost broke us. She and I got really close. She said that she and I as a team could do anything. And when she went to Ohio, I kind of felt like I failed my teammate, my bestie. But that wasn't the case. And I'm learning every day that things change. Situations and times change. We have to learn how to live through them. Learn coping strategies. Learn what it is that we live with. A diagnosis doesn't make you, it doesn't define you. It's something you have to learn how to dance with, if that makes any sense. As you learn your condition and how you respond to things, it is like a dance, because you can see something coming and go, this is how I'm going to respond to that. How can I counter it and make it okay? So you do. You learn to dance with your condition. It doesn't define you. And don't let doctors try to convince you that it does, that it will limit you in any way, because it doesn't have to. Once you master yourself, love yourself, and have that support system, you can do anything. Although it would be nice to spend one day to know what it's like to feel normal. And by normal, I mean not have a mental health condition, have been raised by 2 parents in a stable home, gone to college once, and are working your dream job, to marry the love of your life, not be in an abusive relationship, to have dodged a lot of bullets I didn't. That perfect life that you hear about. But let me let you in on a secret. No one's life is perfect. But it would be nice to not have as much weight on my shoulders all the time. But if you struggle, if you need a friend, if you just want to have some content to watch and maybe just listen to, because I'm not really much to watch. You can see what I look like once and go, okay, that's all I needed to see. And then I'm hoping my words carry more weight than my appearance. And I know that's a tall order. But I'm here. I'm not going to leave. Starting over is going to be hard. but I think this is the best platform for me because I can actually say what I mean. I don't have to dance around things. And I think with mental health, you need to be able to talk openly to help each other heal. Because if you can't have that open dialogue, what are you doing? How are you helping? Yeah. Also, it was way too easy for them to just flip a switch and take everything away from everyone over on TikTok a little while ago. That was very stressful because I have hundreds of hours of video over there. But I'm not carrying it over. I'm using this as a fresh start. So, if you're here with me, welcome. If you want to stay, awesome. I'll be your friend. I try to respond to all of my comments, and whatever you want to talk about, let me know. With my background, I can get into and read about and try to understand just about anything and do episodes on each topic. Whatever you'd like to know. I'll make a list. All right, you guys, thank you so much for having me here, and I look forward to doing a lot more of these videos. All right, I will talk to you all later. Bye.